Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build more energy, a sharper focus, and a smaller waste, all with a full-time desk job. The reason I built this video is because I've been asked a lot over the past few months from business professionals, tech leaders, and also senior executives that I spend most of the time at work behind the desk and wondering how they can restructure their days in a way that helps them with their fatigue. And that kind of fatigue that I'm talking to you about is not something that comes after a physical labor, like a muscle soreness after lifting something or working out. It's something different, honestly. It comes with a heaviness, a brain fog. And most of the tasks that you used to do throughout the day simply they feel heavier and they feel tougher to go through. And it actually might force you to reach for another cup of coffee in the afternoon or maybe to the vending machine for a sugary snack. Then, after some time, after a while, you might also notice that your belt is getting tighter and tighter every day, even though you haven't changed much about your diet, the amount of food you eat, the kind of food you eat. And it's becoming more concerning because now you start to think of a new wardrobe and you set up clothes for your wardrobe. You might even avoid taking pictures because you don't like the way you look. And also, you might avoid, in the summertime, of course, you might avoid taking off your shirt on the beach when you travel with your family or even with your colleagues. Then there's this annual physical with your doctor that they start to notice some alarming signs in your blood work, in your physical examination, like blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and they start to talk about maybe starting you on a medication or increasing your dosage. Even though you might feel concerned and worried about this, deep down you might tell yourself that this is probably normal because a lot of people that you see around you, your colleagues, your uncle, your father, they all went through this as well. Maybe it's normal to get diabetes at 55. Maybe it's normal to feel that level of energy crash at 47. But I'm here to tell you it's not normal at all. But in order to change that, you don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to start building a routine that you cannot stick to. And most certainly, you don't need to add more pills or supplements to your stack. Before we try to fix this, we need to understand why this happened. And the major reason that is happening is not because you're getting older or you're under a lot of stress. The biggest reason is because your body is constantly confused, trying to respond to the signals that you send them daily. The signals that your body, your biology is really not designed to get used to. Long hours of sitting, high levels of stress constantly, rushed meals or even skipped meals, no structured movement throughout the day, and finally, a sleep that is not really restoring at all. Now that we understand the real reason behind it, now that we understood that why it's happening, the fix is pretty simple. It might not be easy, but it's definitely simple. The fix is to bring back order and rhythm to your life in a way that your biology can respond to. And once that happens, once you bring those order to your life, everything starts to click. Your energy is going back up. Your blood work comes back in range. And the waistline that is creeping and getting bigger and bigger starts to shrink. So here are 9 daily decisions, starting from the time you open your eyes to the time you close them at night, that helps you create that rhythm in the long term. In this part, I'm going to explain each of these 9 items for you, bring some examples or actionable steps that you can take right away, and also share some biggest mistakes that I see for each item. I actually divided these 9 items into 3 major categories: morning, afternoon, and also evening. So let's start with the morning. The whole point of having a structure for your morning is actually not to build a crazy routine like 5 a.m. Run around the block or cold plunge or doing like 16 hours fasting and all that biohacks. They can work, but for you, for the start and to build momentum, first of all, you need to restructure your foundations and fundamentals. Okay, so the whole goal of having this morning structure is to set the trajectory for the rest of your day. Okay, so what is the first thing that you can do? The first decision that you can make is to hydrate well right after waking up. Why is it important? It's because every day that you wake up, you are mildly dehydrated. And this dehydration really reflects on your performance. And you need your body to be fully energized starting in the morning to be able to deal with the metabolism and also deal with the cognitive function that you want at work. So the biggest mistake that I see is that a lot of people, right after they wake up, they go reach for a cup of coffee and they argue that it's hydration. While it might be true, nothing beats a full glass of water right after waking up. So for the next morning, I highly recommend that. Put your glass of water or bottle of water or mug or anything else that you drink through. Put it somewhere visible that you can see right after waking up. So you can drink one full glass of water before doing actually anything. And that brings us to the second decision that you need to make. The second decision that you need to make is to delay your breakfast. Let me tell you why it's important. Because eating immediately after waking up kind of stacks food on top of an already elevated cortisol level and a half-baked digestion system. Your body is still processing this peak of cortisol that woke you up. And on top of that, if you add more food or more kind of stress to your body, it cannot digest your food properly. Also, it cannot bring you that focus and energy that you need to take on the rest of your day. So it's really important to give some space and some time to your body to come fully online and then add or ask for digestion and processing of food. And the mistake that I see is that most people, especially busy people who rush to work, they just grab something right after they wake up. And it's usually not a good kind of breakfast as well. And that's why most of them, when they get to work, they feel like they're drained already. They don't have any mental focus or sharpness to be able to continue working. So the action step for this decision is to design your day, your morning, in a way that allows you to give yourself like 30 minutes minimum of some time for your body to fully come online, and then after that, take something to eat. Which brings us to the next important decision that you need to make. It's about the quality of your breakfast, the way you break your overnight fast. It is really important to focus on protein in the first meal of your day. Because most people, most professionals and desk workers worry about overeating breakfast or not fasting. But at the same time, the biggest struggle is that the quality of their breakfast is actually not optimized. And the biggest mistake that I see is that they take like a pastry, like a donut or a croissant. And this is actually the worst thing that you can do for your morning. Like I told you, you're already on a high level of cortisol in the morning. And by adding food and adding this kind of food, high in carbohydrates, high in sugar, without pairing it with any fiber or protein, you're actually putting your body in a state of massive inflammation and massive stress. That's the key reason that you feel drained by 10 a.m. or hungry before even your lunch. So it's really important to focus and build your meals around protein. There are so many sources of protein, either animal-based or plant-based, that you can use. So for the action step of this decision, please pick something already and have it in mind, like eggs, Greek yogurt, lentil soup, or any other protein sources, and you can mix and match them for every morning and have them prepared in your fridge, so every morning you don't have to spend too much time preparing that. Okay, now that the morning part is over, let's take it to the afternoon. And let me explain why afternoon is really important, because most people are so busy at work and the tasks that they are supposed to be doing, and they actually go through this whole afternoon process so unintentionally or mindlessly. But the whole point of having this structure for your afternoon is to be able to keep that energy that you build through your habits in the morning so that you can go through the day fully. And the first thing that you need to do for your afternoon is again around how you structure your meal, your lunch. You need to feed lunch around two things: proteins and plants. A good source of lean protein plus a good source of fiber. Why these two are super important? Because again, protein is really helpful for your metabolism, preserving your muscle, and also your appetite, while keeping your energy stable throughout the day. And on the other side, fiber is super important for the digestion, feeling full throughout the day, and also something that most people don't really pay attention to, and that's your gut microbiome health. And fiber is a very good food source for your gut microbiome. So it's really important to be mindful of that. I see a lot of people, especially busy people at work, not really paying attention to their food, just grabbing something to eat. But from now on, I'd really like you to focus on the quality of the food that you put on your dishes. And the next time that you want to craft your meal, craft your plate, please focus on a good source of protein, also a good source of fiber, and then pick the carbohydrate mindfully and intentionally. Don't let convenience choose for you. Okay? And now for the next one, after you ate, something important that you need to do for the energy and the focus in the afternoon is to be able to move right after eating. Moving your muscle, engaging your muscle. It doesn't mean that you have to run super fast or jump or do a full workout. In fact, doing those might actually negatively impact your digestion. But what is really important for you is that to understand the mechanism behind it. Once you eat, even if you have a very super balanced meal, your hormones like insulin and blood sugar levels, everything becomes chaotic. They peak. And your body takes a lot of effort to be able to bring that calm to that chaos. Okay, but what you can do and help accelerate this process, especially if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic and want to control your blood sugar levels, is to be able to engage your muscles, because your muscles, once engaged, can absorb this extra glucose from your bloodstream, and that really takes away a lot of burden from your metabolism to be able to handle those extra glucose or sugar in your blood. So it's really important to move, and one of the best thing that movements that you can implement is to just take a walk. Take a short walk, like 5 minutes to 10 minutes right after eating. Instead of the biggest mistake that I see, instead of just sitting and scrolling for half an hour, just take a walk down the hallway, or take a couple of flights of stairs, or I don't know, do a 10 to 15 squats right at your desk. Okay, just engage your muscles enough that signals your body that it is alive, it can absorb these extra nutrients that you consume. And the final tip for the afternoon, which is really important, is to be more mindful about your snacks, or set a boundary for your snacks. Packaged snacks, whether sweet or savory, they are designed for you to overindulge in them. You can have them at your desk and mindlessly just munch on them. And a lot of people don't even consider snacking as eating, and they say, why am I not getting the result that I want with my body, with my physique, with my blood sugar control, even though I have very good meals? But snacking is usually a leak in their system. So it's really important to be more mindful of your snacks. If you want a snack, you have a lot of good options that you can play around with. And the best thing that you can do is to swap this ultra processed packaged food with an alternative, a whole food alternative. For example, you can go for hummus with celery sticks. You can go with Greek yogurt and some blueberries. or you can go just with a simple fruit or a handful of nuts. These are all the things that you can do instead of just munching on crackers or chocolate. So the next day, please be more mindful of your snacks and your trips to the vending machine. Now it's time to talk about the final category, which is your evening. And a lot of people I see, they have a very good day, they have a solid morning, they have a solid afternoon, but they don't have a process to close the loop on the day. That's why they don't fully recover, and that recovery reflects in their next day. Just the way we start our day, we need to have a routine to finish our day as well, because your body needs to understand this is a time for metabolisms regarding activities and being alive and being awake, and there's this time to recover and repair our body. The first thing that you need to do for your evening is to close your eating window. Again, the biggest mistake that I see is that people either eat very late at night, right before bedtime, or they maybe have their meal, their dinner around 6, 7 p.m., but then they start snacking and munching and continuous eating until they go to bed. And the problem with that is that, again, just like I told you, your body needs to stop doing activities regarding daytime or awake time, be more focused on the repairing and recovering activities and processes in your body. But if you keep eating and demanding your digestion system that digest all these foods that you're consuming, this lowers the quality of your sleep at that night, and it also reflects in the level of cravings and energy that you need the next day. So for the action step of this decision, please pick a time that you can honor. It doesn't have to be super strict, but the best practice is to pick a time like 2 to 3 hours before going to bed, that you say, this is the time I close my eating window. The next one, you need to set a reverse alarm clock. Most people that I know, actually I think everyone that I know, has a alarm clock to start the day, but they don't have any signal to end their day, finish their day. So it's really important for you to set a reverse alarm clock at least like 1 to 4 hours before bedtime, because a lot of people think that sleep starts when you close your eyes, but in reality, sleep starts when it gets dark outside. Your body starts sending signals and interpreting these signals that they get from outside, that maybe we need to start this whole recovery process. But if you keep stimulating your body and your mind with all these activities, it gets confused. And that goes back to the first thing that I told you, that the whole reason that your body is going through this lack of energy and creeping waistline, it's all because your body, your metabolism is confused. And if you bring that structure to your day, your body becomes more predictable, because it can then know when it's time to be more active and when it's time to rest and recover. So again, just like the previous decision, pick a time and honor that and have a structure for your night. And finally, the final tip or final decision that you need to make for your day is to be able to build your sleep environment just like a cave. Because honestly, even though we as modern human having this lifestyle, this modern lifestyle, this biology is still pretty much the same as our ancestors, the cavemen. So it's really important to honor that as well in order to have a full restorative sleep. So please make sure that your sleeping environment, your bedroom, is dark, it's quiet, not full silent, and it's cool, not cold. Okay? And one more important thing, important mistake that I see a lot of people make is to, myself included, right? Bring our phone to the bed. Phone, tablet, iPad, I don't know, even laptop. And that's actually one of the worst things that you can do for your sleep, because you need to train your body to associate this place, this bed, only for sleeping and recovery. So my suggestion for you is to have this boundary that you only go to bed for sleep or intimate time. If you take anything else and like a phone or you watch TV or something like that on the bed, your brain thinks that it's an extension of your office. So it cannot fully shut down and help you sleep and recover fully. And I think with these 9 decisions that I told you about, starting from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed, you have a good structure to design your day. And here, right now, you can build your own version of that. You don't need to start implementing all these 9 things at once, but you can definitely start with a few of them and then see how it goes. You can pick one from each of these categories, one from morning, one from afternoon, and also one from the evening. So now that these 9 items are over, I want to introduce one more important point, maybe 9 plus 1 or 10 tips for today, and that's the importance of tracking. Why it's important? Um, and this is from my own experience and also the experience that I have with my clients. It can be a game changer for you because if you keep doing all this stuff, I don't know, even all these 9 decisions that I told you, and maybe a few other things that you've learned from other places, and you don't have a very structured plan to track how well you're doing and how well it's reflecting on the results that you're getting, it's a recipe for burnout. You won't be able to stay consistent. And I don't want you to overwhelm you with all these tracking metrics. All I want you to understand is that there are 2 things that you need to track. First is the inputs. For example, among all these 9 items, you pick 3. You need to track and monitor that if you're going through all the 3 things that you mentioned or you set for yourself, how well are you committing to that? And then you need to have a set of metrics as the outcomes to see if these changes that you're making are reflecting on that or not. If so, you can double down on it. If not, you need to make tweaks. For example, in the outcomes, you can pick, I don't know, if it's energy for you, you can pick just one energy. If it's your weight or body composition, you can put them. Or even if it's a blood work that you need to improve, you can put that as well. And after a month or 2 months of trying, you can see how well you're adhering to these plans and how well it's working. Well, now that I've shared all these 9 items with you and I showed you how to track it, I want you to write this down for yourself and go out there and try to implement it right away. You can start tomorrow morning or maybe even today, depending on what time of the day you're watching this. And for the next step, if you want a full protocol depending on your unique goal and unique struggle with your health, you can always reach out to me. And if you want to apply to work with me directly on a one-on-one setting, please click on the link in the description below and fill out the form, and I'll make sure to get back to you and talk about your goals and see if this is a right fit for you or not. So I hope you enjoyed this video and got some value from it, but more importantly, I want you to go out there and try a few of these tips for yourself and see how it will work for you. Glad to have you here. See you in the next video.